I'm Emily.
And I'm Lori.
And welcome to the inaugural episode of Princesses of the Puck.
Princesses of the Puck. That's us.
Yes, so we are here from Cali Sports News at the Toyota Sports Center to talk about New Year, New Kings.
Right, and the Kings have just finished up their practice this morning. They looked pretty good out there.
Kopitar was out there, no news yet
No
on a
news
contract, but we're checking Twitter as we found this.
Stand by.
Give it a minute. So if Kopitar does sign his contract today, what does that mean for the Kings?
I think that's huge for the Kings. Obviously, Kopitar is a franchise player. Obviously, the Kings want to keep him. He's one of the best, if not the best, two-way centerman in the league.
Yep.
So
Selkie
obviously,
Trophy nominee, couple of years.
Obviously, the Kings want to keep him, and so what we've been hearing, as you guys probably already know by now, is that he's about to sign an 8-year contract, approximately $10 million a year. So fingers crossed it gets done today, Kings fans.
Yes, please. I know that's a long contract, and a lot of people are a little nervous about that. I'm not.
I'm not either. I think that Dean Lombardi's always found a way to make these things work. Obviously, the cap is always an issue, but I think he knows what he's doing. I'm going to trust him on this one. I've trusted him so far, and it's worked out pretty well. So,
in Dean we trust, as we like
Absolutely.
to say. I heard the Canadian dollar is now down to about 69 cents on the dollar, though, and so they are a little worried about the salary cap over the next few years. But I don't think that signing a player like Kopitar, who is a franchise player and is assistant captain and has such a presence in the room and on the ice, I don't see that being a problem 10 years down the road. We signed Quick to a 10-year contract a few years ago, and that's
totally
still paying
agree.
dividends. I have absolutely no problem with such a long contract for him if that's what he wanted, and if that's what it takes to get him to stay.
Completely agree. And I know we've been hearing some rumblings about what some of the issues might have been in getting this done.
Right.
And one of them was maybe he wanted a no-trade
Clause,
which I know the Kings are very reluctant to do in any player's case. But I don't know. I don't see an issue with Kobe, honestly.
No, not at all. But I mean, we didn't when we got Mike Richards, and look how that turned out. So
That's true. That's a good point.
Anyway,
That's a good point.
but-
By the way, news on the street is that Richards might see his first game with the Capitals this week. So stand by for that. That should be some interesting stuff.
Yes, and I actually heard that Justin Williams, also an ex-King, we miss you, Mr. Game 7, he actually had a huge bearing on the contract as to whether Richards was going to be able to play for them. They went to him and said, "Are you on board? And if you're not, we're not going to sign him." And Williams said, "Yeah, I am. He's a good player, and he gets a second chance with the Capitals."
Good for Richie.
So,
I believe in second chances. I believe in him. And honestly, remember, prediction was Kings v. Capitals Stanley Cup Final this
I think
season.
both of us actually had that
That's
prediction.
right.
So as long as it doesn't get to a Game 7, I think the Kings are good.
Right. Justin, we'd be really pleased if you'd just stay out of that Game 7. So.
Yes, I mean, we love you, but you are going to be the enemy at
That's
that
right.
point.
That's
so.
right. That's right.
Okay, so new Kings. We have two actual new Kings.
Yes, we do.
The last couple of weeks, LeCavier and Shen.
Right.
I know that Shen has played with Doughty before in the Canadian, in the Olympics on the Canadian team, and Doughty said great things to say about him.
Right.
So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's only been a couple games, but I think, so far he seems to be getting in there, fitting in well. I actually am really impressed so far with Le Cavalier. I think, as we were talking about before during the Kings practice, the idea that a veteran player like him wants to come. He's already said he's going to retire at the end of the season, but he wants one more shot at the Cup. I think that's a perfect fit with this team right now. And you can tell they're very focused on making sure that they stay atop the Pacific Division, make the playoffs, and make another run for the Cup. And I think he's been a great fit so far. Already one assist in his very first game with the Kings.
Yeah, he's playing good on that line. That's a nice line.
Winning in the Detroit game he won 13 of 16 faceoffs, I think it was.
Something 6 out of 7 in the offensive zone, 5 out of 5 in the defensive zone. It's
good stuff.
And that's what we lost with Stoll. Primarily was a face-off guy, and so it's really nice to see him step up and do that. Last year, I think they were kind of very complacent about, we're not doing so great here, and it's fine, we'll make the playoffs. So we'll make the playoffs, and then that not happening. I think this year they're like, no. That's not okay anymore. We can't sit back and just be the Stanley Cup champions we were. It's not working that way. So
definite difference in attitude this
Yes,
year.
definitely.
Energy difference on the ice, I think, and I think you're seeing it reflected in the standings right now. And the
Yep.
fact that we have done so well in our overtimes, I think, is a huge difference from last year.
It was like 2 and 15, which is ridiculous. That's
Right.
15 extra. We only needed what, 2 or 3 at the end of the season.
That's right.
To make
Would've
it
made a
into the
difference.
playoffs, and 15 overtime losses is a big deal.
And how about that 3-on-3 overtime?
Loving
so exciting.
it, loving it.
We know you
Oh
guys
my
are loving
gosh.
that, right?
It's so much empty ice. It's absolutely fascinating to see what players do. And if you get Kopi, you usually have Kopi, Doughty, and
Doughty
Toffoli
and-
out for the first rush.
Yeah, and then
Or
Carter
and Martinez. To see what they can do with open ice is
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Absolutely.
And I think that's been also a big difference is the 3-on-3 rather than the 4-on-4. The Kings are very much excelling at the 3-on-3 format. They've lost, I think, 1 game
That's
in
right.
overtime in the 3-on-3, and everything else. Because we have guys like Kopi and Carter who are fast and who can snipe, and Toffoli, he rarely misses that shot. If he has enough
Absolutely.
open net, he's going to
Yeah,
make it.
I think it was in the overtime against Chicago that when Jim Fox and Bob Miller were calling the game, that they pointed out that the players that were on the ice at that time, our 3 versus Chicago's 3, were just the most elite group of players you could possibly
Oh,
see
yeah,
in 3-on-3 overtime. And
Yeah.
you know, it was truly the most exciting thing.
It's
to
good
watch.
hockey.
It
It was
is
a lot of
hockey.
good hockey being played.
Good hockey.
I know, like, it's exciting. So we've been seeing some good hockey. Practice this morning. Clifford was out there earlier, but not skating with the team, so he's probably
Right.
still not going to be in the lineup.
That's right. And interesting development this morning, you guys have probably already heard, is that Mersch was sent back to Ontario. So remains to be seen.
What quite, and if Clifford is indeed not ready to be in the lineup, why exactly they
happening?
made that move. So again, something by the time this airs, you may have already found the answer to.
I'm just going to check my phone right now to see if anybody has found the answers to that. Nothing yet, guys.
Yes,
Nothing
actually,
yet.
as practice ended, most of the media elite all went off somewhere, and we're really hoping it was to take photos of Kopitar signing his contract.
Absolutely. That would be the
That would
best
be
news
great.
for all of us.
So that's all we have time for here at Toyota Sports Center. Thanks for watching.
And be sure to tune in to our next broadcast in February for Valentine's Day. We'll have a very special broadcast to tell you all the things we love about our Los Angeles Kings.
And there are quite a lot. So we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.